All right, what's up, guys? This is Tyler from the Keep Pounding podcast, and today we're going to be discussing a lot what's been going on, and so we're going to be discussing and going over a lot of different things. What's been going on with free agency, not just with us, but around the league, um, and give our thoughts about it. Put this up here. All right. So one of the first things that happened during right before free agency started was Max Crosby got an extension with the Raiders. It was a 3-year extension worth $106.5 million. That's the max that he can get, but his guaranteed is $91.5 million. That's a good amount, making him one of the highest paid defenders in the NFL. Well deserved. There we go. That was weird. Okay. All right. All right. Going back to DK Metcalf here. Pull this up. Okay. So I really didn't think DK would get or the Seahawks would get a second round pick. I know originally they were asking for a first and a third. No one bid on that at all. I really thought it was funny they were asking for it, to be honest with you. But it's the answer is no unless you ask, right? But I thought a third at the most is what they would get. I thought if they had, I mean, you never know how true the reports are. I know the Panthers were in on it, the Steelers, the Patriots, I believe, eventually pulled out. I don't know if the Cardinals are in on it or not, but I thought if there's multiple teams, then maybe it would drive it up. But the Steelers were desperate, and so they gave him a second round pick and gave him that huge contract. And it's funny because DK wanted 30 million a year. He wanted warm weather, and he wanted to go to contender. Well, he got one of three because Pittsburgh is not warm and they are not a contender. I mean, Mike Tomlin is a phenomenal coach, and we'll see who their quarterback is. There's rumors about Aaron Rodgers, maybe Kirk Cousins. Will Who knows if they'll release him or not? But there's a lot of questions still left for the Steelers. So DK got his deal, um, well deserved. Great receiver. But I know a lot of Panther fans are really hoping for this guy to come to Carolina because of the ties with Canales and Dan Morgan. So there was always that possibility, but I don't think they're wanting to pay him 30 million a year. So then, so the Seahawks seem like they're kind of rebuilding the offense a little bit. Uh, they got rid of Tyler Lockett. Um, Tyler Lockett, he's 32. He played 17 games this past season. He had 49 receptions for 600 yards and 2 touchdowns. His production dropped to its low since 2017, but I really think that's more due to DK and Jackson Smith and Najigba that they drafted a year or two ago. Just really focusing on those guys. So he seemed like he was the third guy in line there. But I really he hasn't been picked up yet. I still think that there's a market out there for him, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. Um, I believe he'll get around 8 million or so per year. I can see him asking for that. Probably, I think he'll help bridge the wide receiver room until we get a true number one if the Panthers can get this guy. Um, so uh, we'll see. But the Seahawks are really changing their offense, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But they really are changing their offense for sure. Okay, here. All right, and then you have Christian Kirk. So the Jaguars traded Christian Kirk to the Texans for a 2026 seventh round pick. So you give CJ Stroud another weapon, but the Jaguars are cleaning house too, not just the Seahawks. Christian Kirk, he is young. So if you remember the Jaguars, they uh, several years ago, and I mean, I guess they still kind of are, but they're kind of a team like we were and still are kind of are right now. But they overpaid for a decent receiver, and he did not perform to that contract. He's 28 years old. He played only 8 games this past season. His season did end week 8 against the Packers when he suffered a broken left collarbone. He played alongside Gabe Davis. You had Brian Thomas Jr. that they drafted last year. Uh, he had just under 400 yards receiving with 27 receptions. Uh, and again, with that massive contract back in 2022, he signed a 4 year, $72 million deal with 37 million guaranteed, averaging 18 million per year. But he definitely underplayed his contract. Jaguars overpaid, which you kind of have to do whenever you're a bottom tier team. You have to pay to get decent, overpay to pay. You have to overpay to get decent players, and that's what they did. Um, I think he'll get around 10 million or so. We'll see. But there you have the injuries, the underperforming. So um, we'll see what his market is. But he's a player that I don't see the Panthers really targeting. But I wouldn't be mad at it. Adding some depth to that wide receiver room wouldn't be a bad idea. All right. And then you have Evan Ingram. So again, he played for the Jaguars. Again, Jaguars are cleaning house. They got rid of their tight end Ingram. He joined the Jaguars back in 2022 when they also picked up Christian Kirk that same year. Evan Ingram played for the Giants 5 seasons before that. He signed a 3 year, $41.25 million extension back in 2023, he really that the next year that he signed that contract, he had a really good productive year. He had 14 reception, or sorry, 963 yards, 4 touchdowns. He earned a Pro Bowl, and so he did really, that he was performing to what his contract was. His 2024, this past season performance was more injury related, including a hamstring injury that he dealt with early in the season. Then it was a shoulder injury that ended his year. He tore his labrum in his shoulder, which required surgery in December of this past season. He's 30 years old. With age and injuries, I don't see his price being too high. Again, we'll kind of go over the different free agents that we targeted earlier the past several days. But in my opinion, I think his price will be averaging around 6 to 9 million per year. So if his shoulder holds out really well and he is um, healthy, I think he can still be a really good productive player. Again, I wouldn't be mad at getting someone like this, and I'll kind of go over my thoughts on what we'll do with the tight end room. I don't think we're done in the tight end room. Could it be someone we target? Maybe, but um, I don't think this will be someone we'll eventually get. But if we did, I wouldn't be mad at it. Would not be mad at it at all. Okay, some other things that other signings around the league. So you have Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. So this one really confused me as far as like what the Seahawks are doing. We're gonna go into Geno Smith in a second, but Sam Darnold to the Seahawks to me that this was to me it didn't make sense. It really didn't make sense. I get that Sam Darnold played really well this past season, He had 66 completion percentage, over 4,300 yards, 35 TDs. He had a good, great year, but you have to remember he's behind a great Vikings offensive line. You have Justin Jefferson. You have an amazing defense. He was a part of a really good team. The Seahawks aren't really a good team. Their offensive line really isn't that good. They just got rid of DK. They got rid of um, oh my gosh, Tyler Lockett. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I don't know, man. He signed a 3-year, over $100 million contract. There are some reports that kind of vary. Some say 100.5, and others say 110.5. But he got a $55 million guaranteed uh, for 3 years. I get why I get the contract, but I don't. I and I definitely don't understand why they picked Sam over Gino. Gino was playing well given the team. I know that Sam has ties to the coaching staff here a little bit, but I just I just think Seahawks made a mistake, to be honest with you. I could be wrong, but I do not think that this was a smart move by the Seahawks. I really am questioning what they're doing. New regime there, but I'm this one to me didn't make sense. It really didn't make sense to me at all. What does make sense is Geno Smith to the Raiders rejoining Pete Carroll. Um, I think this is definitely an upgrade to what the Raiders had this past season. He was traded from the Seahawks for a 2025 third round pick. Geno was in his final year of a 3-year, $75 million contract that he signed back in 2023 with the Seahawks. His projected cap hit is 25 million, which I believe the Raiders are taking on. No news as of yet, though, if he's going to sign another contract extension or not. He is 34. I think they're going to use him as a bridge QB, so I think this might be his final year, maybe another year after that. But I think this would be more of a bridge. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft a quarterback this coming draft, or if they just wait till next year. But this is kind of, to me, this is more of a bridge. Geno knowing Pete, Pete knowing Geno, and but I just think this is definitely an upgrade for the Raiders. I, I don't think it's a problem solver for the Raiders for the QB, but it's better than what they had. Guarantee you that. Better than what they had for sure. Another one that I was actually surprised about. So Chris Godwin, this I thought like possibly the Panthers could go after, but I really thought he had a really good market because before he got injured, he was top 3 in stats for wide receivers this past season. I mean, phenomenal player. But I am so mad, dude, that he's this dude's loyal. I give him that. This dude is loyal. He stayed with the Bucks for less money. They gave him a 3-year, $66 million contract, $44 million guaranteed. I believe the max value was 72 million. For the Patriots, I don't know what they're. The Patriots. I don't know how many years they're offering him, but they were going to give him around 30 million per year. 30 million. This dude with guaranteed money, the best he's going to get is 22 a year. I wish Milton Williams was this loyal. We'll talk about him in just a second. I wish Milton Williams was a little loyal. Oh my gosh, dude. I was shocked when I heard that. I mean, I think most people would go, but um, I don't know. He didn't want to go to the cold, I guess. But he likes where he's at, which, you know, respect to him. I hate that he's still in our division. Really good player. Him and Mike Evans are a scary duo, man. So you know, Chris Godwin staying with the Bucks. This one I was shocked about, but when you're a good organization, and I guess some players will stay loyal with you. This one, so Javon Holland. Uh, I know that we signed a safety in free agency. We'll go over in a little bit here, but I was hoping the Panthers would double dip, as they still can. But I was hoping they would double dip in big names. Holland signed a 3-year, $45.3 million contract with over $30 million guaranteed to the Giants. The Giants secondary was trash as like ours, so they really, it's a good signing by the Giants. But I was hoping that the Panthers would double dip. Um, definitely a really good player. He had a little bit of a drop off this past season compared to 2023, but I just think it's because the offense couldn't stay on the field and the defense was always on the field. So, but Javon Holland went to the Giants. Was hoping that they would was hoping that we would get him, but didn't work out. Didn't work out. All right. So right before, I believe it was Monday, that I was announced that J.C. Horn signed a 4-year, $100 million extension for 70 million guaranteed. Has a max potential value of 108 million with incentives. It does make him the highest paid DB in NFL history. The extension runs to 2029, and it did save us $5 million in cap space right now, which is good. So I'm really happy about this signing. Now, and if I'm being honest, and if, I feel like if a lot of people are being a little honest, uh, in a couple of years, this contract won't look that bad. But just the fact that he's the highest paid DB in NFL history right now, not that his talent doesn't warrant it. It's the He's had 2 seasons, his rookie season and not this past season, but the season before that, with season-ending injuries. When you have a player that you've had for 4 years and they played 50% of the games, you want the contract to make sense a little bit for the team based on your injury history. As a talent, when he's on the field, this is 100% worth it. He's probably worth a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. And again, if he stays healthy and he plays the way he plays whenever he's on the field, this is easy, easy contract. It's just he deserves it, but also like I feel like the Panthers deserve a little bit to pay a little bit less just because of the injury history. So there's a little bit of risk to it because of the injuries, but we had to get him signed. He's an amazing player. He's a cornerstone to this defense. Him and Derek Brown. Hopefully, they can stay healthy with this new training staff. But I was really excited to see this because we need to keep JC around. The guy's a dog. He's amazing. Really happy that he's a Panther for a while. So again, the contract numbers, I'm not too mad at it. It's just I was hoping like a little bit less, but you know, not mad at it. Not mad at it. Man, so this after JC got signed, and then all the news through Twitter. I was working on Monday, and I had Twitter on my computer the whole time, just refreshing every like 10, 15 minutes, and you see that for multiple reports, Adam Schefter through Joe Person, trusted names, right? Shefty never really gets it wrong ever, and it says that Milton Williams is going to the Panthers, but he was close to finalizing a deal with the Panthers, but he wasn't going to the Panthers. And I definitely feel like don't think it's really Milton Williams. I think it's more the agent, which I would too. If I'm the agent, do what you got to do to try to get you and your client more money. So the Patriots came in and outbid us for 4-year, $140 million contract, averaging $26 million per year. I believe the report said that we're going to pay around 20, maybe a little bit more, 20 million per year. But a lot of people on Twitter were just roasting and so mad at Dan Morgan. I'm like, bro, what do you want the guy to do? You have the Patriots that came in that have $150 million in cap space. The dude, we have 35. What are you mad at him about? I mean, we can be mad that this happened, but it's not anyone's fault. I think it's just simply we got outbid, and that's the way it goes. The dude is a amazing talent, great at pass rush. He's a little bit. He's not as good in the run defense, which we'll go in a second about some of one of the players that we signed. But I 100% would have been stoked about this. I was stoked when I read the report. I'm like, yes, we got a true dog in the middle. But whenever you get that big, we all wanted that big splash. We got it, and then I got taken away from us in 10 minutes. So I get people are kind of pissed about that, but At the end, I'm glad Dan did what he did. He did not overpay that. Now, some fans are talking about, well, we can't get paid more than Derek Brown. He's better than Derek Brown. Probably true, yeah. But yet, today's price isn't today's price. We paid Derek Brown last year. This is this year. The prices go up a little bit, and then the market dictates what a player's worth. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into what you pay a player. What is their worth, and what does the market show what they're worth? But that I wasn't didn't like that people were saying that like, oh, if we would have got it. So it sounds like if we got him, fans would be like, why are we paying more than Derek Brown? That's the market, dude. That's the way it goes. People complain about, well, we got to pay a guy, and they complain that we pay a guy. I don't understand. But we were denied. He We didn't get him, but Dan did pivot after that and secured multiple good first free agents, which we're gonna go over here in just a minute here. So after that, maybe an hour after, I think that was about an hour or so after the Milton Williams saga, we signed Trayvon Morig for a 3-year, $51 million deal. I'm not sure what the guaranteed money is, but he's 25, 6'2", 202 pounds. He played for the Raiders. He had an overall PFF grade of 67.5, pass rush grade of 70.1, a rush defense grade of 87.5. But definitely a little bit of a liability in coverage. He has coverage grade was 54.4. Um, Based on just what I was watching on the tape and just reading, he seems like he's more of a, you know, pass rush snaps, run defense snaps, and less coverage snaps, which it did show that in the stats as far as how many snaps he did for each of those categories. He was third in pass rush snaps and then seventh in rush defense snaps, but 21st in coverage snaps. So a lot of his plays, his big plays, were like him at the line for a run or a blitz uh, uh, type of situation. So definitely an upgrade over Xavier Woods and Jordan Fuller. He had 74 tackles this past season, 2 interceptions. He had 12 pressures, which was ranked fourth in the league. He allowed 37 receptions allowed, which ranked 15th in the league, and he had 2 sacks, which ranked fourth. So this guy is a hard hitter, fast, great tackler. Definitely an upgrade. This is someone that I like to see and that we sign. But in Evero's system, we definitely safety DBs are very important in this, and I do see us. I don't think we're done in the safety room at all, not just in free agency, but also in the draft. But this was a big one. It really was excited that we saw this sign in here. The next one I saw was Bobby Brown the third. So Bobby Brown took over Aaron Donald's position after he retired. He excelled against the run. Pass rush was mid, but he is the true nose tackle where he's going to take up 2 offensive linemen and not really allow the center and or the guard to get to the next level, which will free up the linebackers and edge rushers. He's only 24 years old. He's 6'4", 324 pounds. And the interesting stat that I found was he did not miss a single tackle last season. How many tackles did we miss last season on our defense? A lot. And all the players we're going to talk about today, they're all really good with tackling. And so Dan definitely had a plan, and he executed the plan really well. But again, he's a true nose tackle. He's good. He 100% occupies 2 offensive linemen. Um, and he really helps with gap integrity. He's not allowing the middle of the line to be open, which was open all the time this past season because Shy Tuttle was not good. 100% an upgrade from Shy Tuttle. Shy Tuttle did take a pay cut, so I think he's at least on the roster for now. I think he's going to be a body and a depth piece, but this is a huge upgrade. And to me, nose tackle was the number one need that we needed free agency. And we'll talk about the other players, but we attacked every level of the defense. this free agency so far, and I don't think we're done. We still need a few other positions, which I'll go over a little bit later, but we are you can tell there's a plan in place and Dan's doing well. And the contract negotiations, I think Brand Tillis is doing well too. But this was one of my favorite signings that we had so far. Tershawn Wharton. So Tershawn, he is a defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's going to play defensive end for us. So he's not going to be a nose tackle. He's going to be a defensive end. So I think it's going to be Derek Brown, Bobby Brown the third, and then you're going to have Tershawn on the other side. They call him Turk. I think that's his nickname. So he signed a 3-year, $45 million deal worth $30 million guaranteed, max value of $54 million. He was a rotational player playing alongside Chris Jones. He appeared in all 17 games this past season, recording 6.5 sacks. He had a 15-yard fumble in return for a touchdown. If you watch the AFC Championship game against the Ravens, that was him. In the playoffs, Wharton did add 2 more sacks across 3 games, bringing his season total to 8.5 sacks. He's 6'1", 280 pounds. His skill set is more of a pass rush, which is what we need. He's going to be more outside linebacker. I'm not sure if he'd be right or left outside linebacker, but he's going to be that rotational piece for Jadeveon Clowney, DJ Wanham. Then you have Tershawn Wharton, and then we'll go over another player here in a minute as well. Sorry, not outside linebacker, defensive end. So I think it'll be Tershawn Wharton and Ashawn Robinson kind of rotating there. And what I like is these are all good contributor players. Now, you're not going to get every free agent you sign isn't going to be the big splash person. And typically the teams that do the big splash in free agency or they win free agency, they don't win during the season. So I like these signings that you have contributors, but it does not like have to be 3 or 4 big names and you spend $100 million. So we're spreading it out a little bit, which is what we need in the defense because the defense was horrible last year, right, guys? The defense couldn't stop the run for anything. So we need to attack every level, which was what we did. But again, this guy, his pass rush skill set is really good, which I love. But he does struggle a little bit in the run defense. So this was another great signing that I was excited to see about. Then we signed Patrick Jones II. He came from the Vikings. He signed a 2-year deal worth up to $20 million. Don't know the guaranteed money yet. He played 15 games this past season. He's 6'5", 264 pounds. He's 26 years old. And if you see all these players are 24, 26, 25, or 26. They're in that range. So Dan Morgan has a type. He's good in run defense. He's mid and pass rush. This is the outside linebacker that's going to be rotating with Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Wanham. He had 19 tackles this past season, 7 sacks, 13 hurries, 24 total pressures, and 1 forced fumble. Again, I'm not mad about this. This isn't like a big wow signing, and some of these players are not meant to be the big impact guy. What we have now in our defense are a bunch of players that can contribute and that Evero can bring them in and out and they can be fresh. I like this. There's still work to do, but we have vastly improved from this past season to now. 100%. Okay, then the next free agent we signed, Mike Jackson. He signed a 2-year, $14.5 million deal. The guarantee money, and I'm unsure of. They didn't disclose that yet. I'm interested to see. So I love this. I love this as a CB2. I'm unsure. I still think that I don't know if they're going to get another corner free agency or not. I think it'll be more in the draft. Could it be Will Johnson at 8? Possibly. But I think they'll definitely target another corner, whether it's free agency and or the draft. But to me, if we can get I'm not mad if he's CB2, but I want us to try to get a better player because if we can get a better player at CB2 and he's our death piece, I'm feeling good because, again, with Evero's scheme, you need to have a lot of good DB players. And so if we can get Mike Jackson, which he played really well last year, we expected Dane Jackson to be that CB2. And when he got injured, Mike Jackson came in and never gave the job back. So to me, if we can add to this room, get a better C beat corner, and then he's our death piece, we are looking good. If we can get another corner, another safety, I'm feeling good about this defense. Really feeling good about this defense. But I love this signing. I think it's a great team friendly deal. And Mike Jackson really does deserve this. I mean, he played really well this past season. Then you have Austin Corbett. We re-signed Austin Corbett to a 1 year, $3 million contract. The it can go. He can earn up to 7 million this year. He's going to be competing for the center position with Cade Mays, who they did sign. Uh, I like this. I was surprised because he had season-ending injuries back to back with ACL and then I think it was a biceps tear. The biceps tear as an offensive lineman, you can recover faster and better than an ACL tear, obviously, because offensive lineman you're using more weight as your in your lower body. So I think with rest, even with the injury that he had this past season, with tearing the bicep, that actually allowed the knee to heal a little bit more probably, and then he should be good to go with training camp. I think they'll ease him into it. But I like that they are able to sign uh, Cade Mays and Austin Corbett, allow them to compete, and they both were really serviceable and played well when they did play. Austin Corbett did well when he played center. Cade Mays did great when he played center. Right now, I'm leaning towards Cade Mays because he played really well throughout the season. Austin Corbett hasn't played for a while, but if Corbs wins the competition, then fine. But at least you have a backup center that is extremely serviceable. Or if even Cade Mays wins out the job, remember Austin Corbett played right guard for us back in 2023 before we signed Robert Hunt. So this adds depth to the offensive line. Then we signed Tommy Trimble. This is a player that I wanted us to resign. He signed a 2 year, $10.5 million deal, 8 million guaranteed. I think this is a pretty good friendly deal. I think 2 years, 8 million guaranteed. Bro, that's easy money. People are saying that he got overpaid. What? He's a really good tight end too. You're telling me that we're gonna pay him 4 million a year at the very least, at the most 5 million per year for a really good tight end too. He's been improving every year. He is a better blocker than Sanders. I still think they draft or sign another tight end. I think the draft is most likely going to happen. Like actually, drafting a tight end is more likely to happen than signing a veteran. But they could sign a veteran. But again, a lot of the things that you see, especially offensively, that we've done so far, and we'll go over a few more people here. It's allowing continuity with the team. The offensive line is staying together. You're having the same pieces of weapons that are staying together. Yes, you want to upgrade, but it's also he's young. I think he's what, 24, 25. I'm not mad at this at all. I think this is a great signing. He earned it. And I think it was really cool that that Tommy sent out that video of him buying a truck for his dad. I think that was pretty cool too. But I'm really happy for Tommy. I think he deserved it. And I think it's a good team friendly deal. And it's a good deal for Tommy. Then Sam Martin. So Sam Martin is our new punter. Johnny Hecker is gone. I don't know if he's retiring or if he's going to be signing for another team or not. But it was a 1 year, $3 million deal. The guarantee money hasn't been disclosed yet. He is from Appalachian State, so he is from North Carolina. He has played 12 seasons for three different teams. He played for the Bills this past season, and his average punt was 46.7. I can't remember who I saw on Twitter that had the stats. I think it was Panthers Culture on Twitter, but I think his average punt inside the 20, and there's another stat. I can't remember if it was the longest punt or what it was, but everything was like 22nd in the league. So he seems like he's a slightly below mid player, but you know. Whatever. This doesn't move the needle for me at all. I mean, the special teams is going to look a little different this year. We're definitely going to get a new kicker. Eddie Pinheiro is gone. I do think we get the kicker in the draft. or like seventh round, or even you know undrafted free agents. But this, to me, this doesn't mean anything to me. But this is our new punter. What did move the needle for me, and what I was really surprised about, was us being able to re-sign Brady Christensen to a 1-year deal with $2.78 million contract, fully guaranteed. This gives you back your Swiss Army knife that you had on your offensive line, and he can play any position on the offensive line: center, guard, tackle. He brings added depth to the offensive line and can, again, continue continuity. I really thought that Brady Christensen would get a market, somewhat of a market, but I think, his given his age, and then I think he was injured for a while as well. I'm actually shocked that I think he's a starting guard in this league. Um, like, he's serviceable, but there just wasn't a market for him. So to me, 2.78 million for an offensive lineman that has produced for you on the offensive line and has moved different positions and actually played decently. I think this is a great signing. This is something, again, you have you re-sign Austin Corbett, re-sign Cade Mays, then you have Brady Christensen. I think they may sign a tackle possibly in the NFL draft. They may draft one eventually to place Taylor Moton, but I like again the continuity on the offensive line for Bryce. So that way, if something happens where you know one of the guards go down, or if we have a tackle go down, I don't think he's a good left or right tackle. I think he's more of a guard. But if Damian Lewis goes down or Robert Hunt goes down, yeah, Brady Christensen that can contribute. So this I was really, really excited about. Then you have Miles Sanders. So um, during the combine, in one of the interviews, Dan Morgan mentioned that Brand Tills was in contact with his agent, Miles Sanders' agent, and that they were talking about basically restructuring his contract. So it seemed like that, in my opinion, like it was lasting for a while. So it seemed like that uh, he was going to take a pay cut, and we get a veteran running back again. Miles Sanders hasn't really done anything since we drafted him, besides the last game in the season. I honestly wanted him off the team. We finally released him. He frees up $5.225 million in salary cap space. Mike K did mention, I saw on Twitter that we had ties to Ty Johnson from the Bills, but I did see that Ty Johnson re signed with Buffalo. Um, but this does show that we do need help in the running back position. I can see us signing a veteran. We're definitely going to get one in the draft, I believe, but I do see us signing a veteran. It's just a matter of who. Um, but I do believe, again, that the Panthers will look to draft a running back in the draft in one of the later rounds. There's a lot of talent in the draft this year with running backs. Um, uh, I think we had an interview with Cam Skidaboo. I can't remember how you say his last name, but in a different video where I talk about all the players that we have interviewed during the combine for the draft. But that guy, I wouldn't be mad about us drafting in like round 4 or 5. So, um, but that's what's going on so far in free agency. I'm gonna make another video again. I'm not sure exactly when I'm gonna do it. It might be in a couple days, or I may make a video just about depending on how much movement we do in free agency. I may talk about that as well. But I'm gonna try to do a couple videos 2 times a week if I can, or make some shorter videos, not go live as much. But uh, I'm excited what the Panthers are going to do. We still have a lot of holes to fill. I wouldn't say a lot, but we still have holes to fill. Um, the holes I think that we still need to look at is another safety. I think is number one. I think another safety, and then um, do we get another linebacker? Do we get another edge rusher? But maybe another corner, but safety, I think for sure. And then going to the offensive side of the ball, you already kind of secured the offensive line. Could they sign a backup tackle? Maybe, but I think they do that in the draft, to be honest with you. But I do see us getting a running back and or a receiver. Um, it's not going to be a big splash receiver. Maybe you never know, but I don't think we're going to get that big name this year. I think it'll be next year. Do we draft Ted McMillan? I don't know. I'll kind of I'll make a video about what my thoughts are about those top tier players and who I think we're going to target, and whose value matches 8 overall. But we could target a couple receivers in the draft too. But again, this isn't. We're still rebuilding it. We're still building a team, guys. We didn't. Last year we had no depth at all, and you could see that, especially on the defense. So we need to start adding pieces and not try to fix things in a season. We're getting better each season. Dan Morgan, I think, is doing a great job. I think Brant Tillis is doing a good job. Dave Canales is doing a great job. And then let's see, this defense allow us to stay in games and be competitive. And hopefully Bryce Young can keep taking those steps and play like he did with Atlanta this past season. And then hopefully we can get him. I think we're definitely going to get a speedster in receiver, whether it's free agency or the draft. But I think now it's time to we've really focused on defense and then offensive line. Now I think it's starting to really focus on playmakers now. But it's not going to. I don't think it's going to be one of those big names. Can something happen where we trade a second and get T. Higgins? Maybe, but I think that's extremely unlikely. Do we trade for Garrett Wilson? Again, I think that's extremely unlikely. But you never know. You never know. But I just hope Panther fans are so all over the place with this team. I, I want to say be patient, but I know a lot of Panther fans don't want to hear that because they've been hearing that for a while. But when Dan has shown that he is building this team the right way, allow this guy some time. You have to. You don't have to understand every move or agree with every move, but as long as you see that team getting each time they sign and they every season, every time they're signing a new free agent or draft another player, is that position getting better every time? That's when you know you got a good GM. So um, that's gonna be it for me for now, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Like the video if you can, subscribe if you like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.